Like, you'll feel this confidence within yourself that some of us really, really need. So I wanted to kind of talk about something today, and this is kind of connected to maybe the reasons why some of you may struggle with being able to do a challenge like this. And this is kind of based on my own kind of journey, and just kind of reflecting and making some notes on that. So I'm going to read out some of the notes that I wrote. So I said, I was thinking about what are the things that prevent us from being authentic. You know, what are the things that prevent us from actually taking that step and being like, okay, I'm going to own this. I'm going to, achieve this. And I believe one of the things that really is our anchor, and it's our need for perfection. And me, myself, I understand this like really well. Like, I'm an intense perfectionist. I'm also an artist, so I know any fellow artists out there, you'll constantly critique your work. There's nothing that's ever like good enough, because you'll always see, actually, I can do so much better. And while that is a beautiful quality to have, because it shows that you're constantly willing to grow and excel and go through your process of evolution, you're not allowing yourself to have capacity for more, because you're so hung up on what's already just allowed to just channel through you. Creativity is a channel. Like, creativity is not supposed to be harnessed, it's supposed to be released, and we need to learn to not be so attached to our creations. Once you create something, it just is. Learn to embrace it for what it is. So I said perfection prevents you from being authentic. So also even things like, doing a live, and you're like, oh my gosh, I ain't got my hair done, I ain't got no makeup on right now. Like, I tried to take off my eyelashes, I got one eyelash still there, and I'm like, I was gonna allow that to be a deterrent for me to go online live and speak to you guys. But I said, no, do you know what, I'm actually gonna do it, because like, sometimes, okay, there's something that I've been receiving recently, and it's about we all have a message. We all came here with a message, but sometimes we don't allow our message to be heard because we don't want to actually speak it. And there's times when these messages come in moments of inspiration, like you'll be like, wow, I need to speak about this, I need to go live and maybe do a live about this, and you'll plan ahead and be like, I'm going to do this on this day. But then when you do it, it's never as authentic as it would have been if you allowed it to just channel out in that direct moment. And this is something that I'm doing today, because this is something that I was really thinking about, and I was like, okay, let me do a live about it later, which I will do an in-depth live about it. But I said to myself, do you know what, let me go live now, because this is something that's on my heart now. This is something that I want to share now. So this is something I'm doing now. So I really want you to begin to come into that type of energy where you're like, okay, do you know what, let me do it. Let me come out of this procrastinative, if that's even a word, energy, and never actually achieve the things that you want to achieve. Some of you I know in this group want to be able to start a YouTube channel, and you, like myself, probably have left it many years, but get out and do it. The best thing you can do is actually just take that step and just do it, because it's your need for perfection. Oh my gosh, I haven't got this in place, I haven't got that in place, I need my equipment, I need this, I need that. No, you just need you, and your platform will build itself. So this is what I'm doing myself, because I said to myself, oh my gosh, I want to wait until I get all this kind of stuff, and Spirit was like, step out and do it now. You'll build your platform in time. But if we keep allowing ourselves to fall into this trap of waiting until there's a better time, we'll never actually get things done. And it's even like, there's many projects that you could have wanted to get done that you haven't got done because you're like, oh, this is not perfect. Things that you wanted to release that you haven't released yet because you're like, no, it's not perfect. Even stepping outside of your house because you haven't got makeup or your hair done, like, you're not going to do it because you're not perfect. Where is this coming from? These are the things that actually suppress our authenticity. So these are things that we definitely need to address. And I said, the 4 things that can suppress our authenticity: our constant need for perfection, our constant need for control, because if we can't just allow things to be. We have to have our hands in everything and make sure that it's done exactly how we want it. We're such control freaks, literally. We want to be able, anything that we can control, whether it's our how people perceive us, every single, like, there's so many things that we control, and these are things that I really want you to, after this live, like, just go in your journal and do some focused journaling, and maybe you think about where you may do this in your own life, because these are things we're not perfect. None of us are perfect. We all have struggles, but we have to be able to acknowledge these things. And I said the constant need to possess our circumstances and limit ourselves to that circumstance. So, like, some people, I would hear people say, I'm a single mother, and, I've managed to do this, but I'm a single mother. Like, you are more than a single mother. You are more than just a mother. You're more than just a woman. You're more than just a man. You're more than just an auntie. You're more than just a sister. You're more than anything that is just, especially when it comes to being something for someone else. That's where we can't actually see the authenticity within ourselves. We're so clouded by everyone else, and this is how we can fall into the trap of things like codependency. So definitely want you to be mindful of that. And the last thing I said is our stubborn nature that prevents ourselves from changing or from going through the whole process. So a lot of times we want to tap out. We don't want to go through the whole process. We just want to be able to find the quickest route that can get ourselves out. But the fact is, you can't get out unless you go in. So the only way out is through. And so we have to keep telling ourselves this, because we're so accustomed to escapism, whether it's escaping this 3D reality, once you come into consciousness now, like, no one knows how to be grounded. And these are things that I've struggled with myself, so I'm not just speaking about these things as if it's external for myself. These are things that I've had to learn myself. So you have to be able to allow whatever's taking place to take place without you trying to manipulate the process. Just allow whatever needs to happen, because a lot of these things happen to wake us up. These circumstances happen because these are lessons that we need to learn. These are lessons that we need to embody. These are things that we need to awaken in ourselves, and these challenging situations are the only things that is going to awaken us in those situations. So definitely, it's like astrology in itself. Some people have very harmonious charts, but their life can be very, very boring. It's those that have the challenging aspects, the squares, the oppositions, all those types of aspects in your chart. That's what is going to create the challenges. These are dynamic challenges, but they are what is going to allow you to be the most authentic, because authenticity comes through experience, through the understanding, the overstanding of your experiences. This is where your truth comes from, your philosophy of life comes from. This is the energy of Sagittarius, which is the full moon that we've just come out of, and this is the energy I'm still resonating right now, which is why I'm able to give you this message. But it's we have to allow ourselves to go through the process. And yeah, stubbornness is not going to work anymore. Fear-based existence is not going to work anymore. So our fear of success isn't really going to work anymore. You know, we're only going to do ourselves more injustice than actual justice. So I'm going to ask you to just ponder on these things. As me, myself, I'm taking the time to ponder on this, but this is something I just wanted to bring to you very quickly. So I hope you're blessed by this transmission, and I shall see you on the other side.